Alright, here we go again. Serious video again. So I just finished a few minutes ago making a notice about this video being on bullying. The reason why I've got my shirt off is because I was wearing an iron shirt and I don't want to get scruffy, so I've taken my shirt off to do this. And yeah, I've decided, you know what, even though I was thinking I've got to make this video and another serious video coming out soon within the space of by next Sunday. I'm doing this one today. This is one out of the two serious videos that I want to make. And again, it's about bullying. It seems that I've decided that I'd rather get this out of the way than go for a walk, because this is something that's been pending and that I've been needed to address for years, maybe at least 2 to 4 years. So yeah, 2 to 4 years, yeah. So before we address that, we've got to get all the way down to my memories of being bullied in school. And this happened, my first memories of being bullied in school was during primary school, around year 3 to year 4. Unlike most, even though I'm from the UK and was raised in England, I actually was one of the few that actually went through the 3-tier system, with primary school, year 1 to year 4, middle school, year 5 to year 8, and secondary/high school, year 9 to year 11. But in the high school that I was in, there was also the sixth formers. So the school was more like year 9 to year 13, but I'm talking about GCSEs. GCSEs is year 9 to year 11. Yeah, man, I wasn't the secondary school. I wasn't the 2-tier system, year 1 to year 6 and year 7 to year 11. No, I didn't go through that. But yeah, here we are. All right, let's get back into it. Let's go back into the more relevant side of things in terms of this video. In terms of this video, the first memories that I have being bullied was nearing the end stages of primary school. Back when I remember being trapped in the shed by two popular kids. One was around my height, back then anyway. One was around my height, white guy, black hair, like a fringe. It was a fringe and short at the sides, but it was a bit overgrown. And I remember this guy during middle school, it was quite overgrown at the sides, instead of being short. But sometimes it would be, sometimes it wouldn't be, depending on whatever his fancy was back then. And this the other guy on the other end of the shed that I remember anyway was around the same height again, but maybe slightly smaller than me and the other guy. This guy was slightly smaller, but yeah, this guy had blonde hair. Another white kid, he had blonde hair. It was it was very overgrown. It looked, the closest adjective that I could come to describing what his hair looked like was slicked back, but there was no gel. It didn't look like there was any gel involved. Anyway, yeah, I remember I have the visualization of this memory that I'm having right now is it's me, them being on both sides, and me basically twisting my body 180 over and over again, thinking about how the fuck am I gonna get out of this. And the what is it? It's not an alleyway. The space behind the shed was extremely small, so it would have taken quite a bit of time to shift my body from side to side. realistically, there's no way I would have been able to just shift my body quickly as I visualize. No way, because there was way too little width to be able to do that, even for a child. I also remember this blonde kid. He put his hands around my neck, and I remember him. I remember him throttling me, just about less than a meter to the right side of the shed. And I told the teacher about this, and the teacher said, just ignore them. That's how I remember it going down. If that's actually completely true, that teacher's a fucking prick. But middle-aged woman. I'm just speaking of insulting her. Middle-aged woman, probably going through a midlife crisis at the time, and maybe even still now. No need. Look, without those events, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But yeah, those teachers did not give a shit. The primary school teachers. With that, I told the teacher. That's what I did. I told the teacher. Oh, if bullying's happened to you, tell the teacher. I did. And what did she say? She said, just ignore them. I remember this happening. I remember telling the teacher, this woman, maybe in her mid-30s to 40s at the time. I remember this woman saying, and I remember her saying that to me after I go and tell from the throttling. I remember the throttling happening first, and then I go and tell. I remember this being a cloudy day. One memory that's just come out of nowhere is me. I remember jumping extremely high once, and I mean like superhuman high. I don't think that memory that I remember jumping from the ground extremely high, like floors high. You know, I was telling people, I think I was telling people I was doing this as well. But no way in hell did I do that. No way. No way. No way. There's probably something there saying as well, but yeah, there you go. There's a little funny experience for you there as we get into a topic that's very serious. So I remember this bullying happening. And before then, did I do anything to receive that behaviour? Not from my memory. On first glance, I want to say no. Like immediately, no. I didn't go and trouble any kids. But during primary school, there were some of the popular kids that were trying to trouble me. And I remember that, I have that memory of being trapped by those two people in between the shed. And now look at where we are. I remember being told, just ignore them. After the throttling, the blonde guy left. And I remember I was still to the right of the shed, but I wasn't facing the wall. So basically, there was the wall, then it was him, then it was me. When that's how I remember the throttling happened. I think he lightly gripped my neck. He wasn't like trying to fucking kill me or something. But yeah, I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling very vividly. Now that I've just done that, yeah. I remember it happening very vividly. He was in front of the wall. So the wall was here, it was him, then it was me. And then a while later, I was no longer facing the wall. I was facing 180 degrees in whatever direction you want away from the wall, or maybe more like, so if the wall's facing this way, maybe more like 165 or 160 degrees anti-clockwise, around about there, but basically 180 degrees. So basically my full body's turned around, and I'm talking to the teacher, telling her what happened about the throttling, and she's saying, just ignore them. From my memory, just ignore them. And then I remember one time when we were having a serious conversation, it was me, my dad, and the head teacher. And my dad told me to leave because it seemed, I think from his perspective, it seemed like I was starting to feel very angry about what was being said. Maybe because maybe I spoke to my dad about it, and then we got to that situation where he's felt the need to bring me, to take us there and to speak to the head teacher about this. Now, upon reflection, maybe that was a part of why I did the bullying I did, because of me getting bullied, and I didn't process the emotions I felt towards that, so I flipped the script and did the bullying. Maybe because I felt a sense of not wanting to be bullied like how I did in primary school, even though I may not have realised it. The bullying I did was during high school, like anywhere from, it was during like GCSE to A-level times, to one person in particular, and the actions were minor at first glance, but to me, I think they're very significant now, hence I'm making the video, to be able to process my emotions now based on the matter that I felt as a kid. If as a kid and I was going through that situation again, and I knew, before it happened, I knew that the teacher would just say, just ignore them, I would have learned how to fight then and there. Not just right and just bust his mouth open. I wouldn't know how to, but what I'm saying is, I would have kept on telling my parents, let's go to a fighting class or something along those lines, just so that I could know how to protect myself from those bullies. And I was saying, I didn't process my emotions to it. And the thing that probably triggered this the most was that I saw one of these guys that I remember did this to me, trapped me in between the shed, the guy with the black hair, a few years later down the line. Alright, here we go. I just made a quick, some quick two lines, few keywords to be able to explain what I was thinking, but not forget either point. So if I were to, why did I say so like that? My bad. So if I were to be in that situation again, I'd tell him to move. I may or may not give another warning, and then if it goes past that, it's like, okay, swing, seesaw swing. If I were to be in that situation and I'd known what I know now, that the teachers don't give a shit, the teachers did not care, then yeah, I would have done what I had to do. Or even, I didn't know how to use my fist back then. I'm only learning how to use my fist now. I would have at least kicked at them. Legs are powerful. Legs are a powerful thing. I actually remember that, now that I think about it, and now that I've said that, I remember there being one time some guy was kicking at me and I was kicking at some guy as well in middle school. I don't know why though. This just makes me think, is my past more violent than I've actually thought it out to be? I don't know why, but I've just had this blurry memory of some guy kicking me and me kicking some guy in middle school. I don't know, maybe that's fake, maybe it's not real, maybe it is real, I don't know. I remember it being in the year 5, year 6 playground. But I think, even though that was the case, it was year 7. I think I was in year 7 even though, no, I don't know, the memory is very blurry, but I do remember, falling on the floor whilst playing football in the year 5 to year 6 playground, and then one guy, not giving a shit, kicked the ball at my head. Not full force, but he kicked it so that the ball was rolling slowly, and it hit my head, it hit my right side. People did not approve of that. I don't know what happened to him, but I think the most that he really got for that was just a telling off. I now also remember the time in year 4 when I was laughing at a kid who got time out in school. I remember getting a red card, as if this is fucking football. Oh, I was feeling so pissed. I was feeling so pissed I got that red card. Red card. Imagine if I had, or we had, the mindset that we do now back then, talking about red card. This isn't football. As if I give a shit. Give all the red cards you want. give all the red cards you want. As if I give a shit. I even this lady. I was actually cool. We were cool. Maybe not necessarily tight, but we were okay. We, for the most part, were okay. Except for that one time when she gave me the red card. But big fucking deal. As if I give a toss about a red card now. Give all the red cards you want. As if that's gonna make a fucking difference to my life. As if you pay the bills. Idiot. I don't think as children we were really built to question ideologies. Like, why should I care that you've given a red card or a yellow card? As if this is fucking football. Listen, yeah, I'm not Ronaldinho. Why do I give a shit? Ronaldinho wasn't retired back then. You gotta remember that. These are during the early days. Maybe not the early days of his career in like the mid 2000s, but this is more like the very early 2010s to the very late 2000s, like 2009 to the very early 2010s and onwards. But yeah, I would not give a shit about getting a red card. Give all the red cards you want, as if that's gonna make me money. Fuck off. What other memories? I remember in that same year 5 to year 6 playground. So just for context, yeah, the year 5 to year 6 playground was like this. The main school building was here. Oh, sorry. The main school building was here. The year 5 to year 6 playground was here, and then the year 7 to year 8 playground was here. But there was another entrance to the building over there where the year 7 and year 8 playground was. So like both, they, to be fair, the engineers, whoever built that building, they made it, that was pretty sensible of them So in the year 5, year 6 playground, there's a quick entrance over there. And then in the year 6 to year 7 playground, there's also another quick entrance there. Maybe they did that on purpose, or it was just rather conveniently quick to get in from both playgrounds. So yeah, I don't think they probably did that purposefully as they were building the school. However fucking long ago that was, shit. I was thinking, you know, that middle school. Imagine if that was a fucking house. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I mean, the school's closed down, so no one could go there. But imagine, imagine if that was a, imagine if that was a mansion. I'd probably like to live in that. I'd love to live in that, but I think it would just be way too big for one person. The amount of fucking rooms that were in there, yeah, it'd be way too big for one person. But it would be lovely to live in though, probably. Maybe in the future, if I, as and when I want a massive house, I could do it like a school. I could basically make a school my home. That'd be pretty fucking cool. But going back to the point, I mean, I'm just really, the reason why I'm doing this and talking about all this shit anyway is just to get any squeeze out any juice that there is, any resentment that I could have got and created from these situations, all the events. I'm just trying to remember them and ooze it out of my system, squeeze it out of my system, like how you would a wet towel with water to squeeze it out. Anything. I remember during year 6, this memory's been on my mind for a few minutes now. I think as soon as I was talking about the memory when I somehow fell over, I was crying. The wall, the gate, the metal gate. Imagine like how a gate would look like in a prison playground. It kind of looked like that. So there was the gate, the wall here, and then I was very close to the wall, and then the guy was to the right of me. He kicked the ball with little force and then hit my head, and then the ball hit my head. And that was, I know it was disapproved of, but I don't know what was said. I don't remember what was said. These memories are so long ago, but the more I can ooze out, the better for me, because that means that any negativity, any hatred that I feel from these situations, I can ooze them out. If I need a part 2 to this, and if I need to make this an ongoing series, I will. But for now, I'm just oozing it out and allow myself to forgive myself and potentially also forgive these people. How could these people have known any better, really? They're kids. You don't really know about morality when you're single digits. I mean, even though I was raised in a Muslim background, I would say that I've never smoked before, but I remember when I was very, very young, one of my sisters had I think it was a shisha pen, and maybe because she was just rebelling in that, I don't know. And I remember trying to make rings of it, not knowing what it was, and not knowing that I was being indoctrinated with Muslim beliefs. That was my parents doing, but I think I've snapped out of it, at least for the most part. I'm not going to eat pork in this house though. I think it's just more hassle than it's worth. I'm not going to do that just to prove a point, no. They can say all they want about it, like, oh, it's swine, it's bad. I'm not holding myself to those God will punish you comments that I remember my dad has made at least once. I'm not doing that. I'm not holding myself to that way of life. Fuck that. And in my head I was just saying fuck them for that, in that aspect. But these these people are my parents. These people raised me. These people, they did a lot, and are still doing a lot. I mean, I'm living in a place that they're paying rent for. Am I eating their food? Not always. On the odd occasion I might, but it's extremely rare nowadays, especially since I'm tracking. I don't really do that anymore. But to say fuck them for that, that's a lot of hate to put out to my parents, the people that raised me for many, many, many years. But I feel happy that I've been able to release that impulsive thought, because me doing that has meant that I've been able to question it and to actually say, no, I don't want to say that to them, and I don't want to leave this serious video thinking, fuck them for saying God will punish you, especially my dad. No, that's a lot of resentment that I don't want to carry. And I know what it's like to carry resentment 24/7. I know what it's like. I know what it's like, and I know how I live life because of it. I have very vivid memories of all of the memories of stewing, just mentally stewing in the room after being told, no, you can't get a job. I remember, I know what it was like. But I would have never thought that that resentment would have come. I wouldn't have never thought that there would be underlying resentment from being bullied in primary school and not processing my emotions towards that. Not during the teenage years, no. But yeah, this is now the time to be able to release those thoughts, to be able to release that hatred that I created for myself, essentially without even, no, not for myself, that I created without even realizing it at during primary school, due to having memories of being bullied. And that one time when the blonde kid throttled me, and when he and the black haired guy trapped me for fun, as they were standing on both ends of the shed. Yeah, I would have told one of them to move. And if they don't do that, then basically I would have swung. I would have swung at them, because even if there's very little room in this tight room to swing, to really make a connection, I would have at least tried to bust his eye. I would at least try to bust one of their eyes, give him a black eye, because you're not trapping me. Who the fuck are you to think that you can trap me? Physically or mentally, who the fuck are you? I didn't know how to fight back then. I'm only starting to understand how to fight now, as I've said. But yeah, I genuinely could have held resentment, and that's where it could have started. This bullying, the bullying that I did, could have, without even realizing, come from that core of being bullied during all the way back to primary school. Did such things happen again? No. After that moment, no. Not like that anyway. But later on in high school, as in another video, in a past video that I've made, I talked about the racism that I experienced and the prejudice that I experienced. One girl using Twitter to unironically call me a terrorist. I've spoken about that in a previous video, so it wasn't like it wasn't happening. But by high school, I wasn't clean. Primary school, I wasn't troubling anyone. Primary school, I wasn't troubling anyone, but I was being troubled. Those kids with that event where I was being trapped on both sides of the shed, and the blonde kid throttling me. Back then, I wasn't troubling anyone. But then shit changed, which I'll get onto later. It's been a while since I've actually I've stayed really back to those primary school memories, but I'm just taking this as a sign that it needed to be spoken about for years, potentially for at least 11 years. This is something that I've been needing to address, and that's been pending. But now that the job status is unemployed, remember the road to making megabucks day 3, it's now self-employed, because I'm making those avenues. No, not making. I have made those clear-cut avenues that I want to progress in. So it's not unemployed, it's self-employed now. Let's just clear that up. It's just that in the past I've said it, the job status is unemployed so many times. Not I'm unemployed. I said the job status is unemployed, and I use that wording very specifically because I'm not my job status. Job. It's just I just want to do fun things that pay me, and if that means my job status is classified as self-employed, that's fine. So be it. But yeah, during high school, shit changed. But before I get onto that, I was saying that I met this black-haired guy again in high school. So we went to primary school, year 1 to year 4 together. We may have gone to nursery together, I don't know. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me. On impulse, I was just saying I don't care. It doesn't matter to the story. Even though it may have happened, it doesn't matter. Year 1 to year 4, we went to school together. Year 5 to year 8, middle school, we went to school together. And the relationship was more friendly. I don't know when this happened, but during primary school, I said I wanted to go have a sleepover with this guy. I was telling my mum. She was in front of the bifoldal garden doors. I think it's the ones where where it goes like that and the doors fold on both sides. She was in front of that. So it was the doors going to the garden, then her, then me. And I remember when I was probably single digits, maybe around 9, I was saying I wanted to go have a sleepover with this kid, and she, with a lot of passion, said no. That genuinely could have been because of the bullying, but I don't remember if me asking her happened before, during, or after that memory of him trapping me, of him being one of the people that trapped me between the shed. To think that that single thing could have been something that I've created resentment over a decade now is crazy. Just simply because I didn't process my emotions towards it then and there. I was come on, man. Like, I was 9 years old. How was I going to know how to do that? At 9? At 9 years old? How was I going to know? Maybe my parents didn't completely know what I was going through or how to do that either. And maybe my parents didn't know how to process emotions either. I don't know. I want to speak about my dad and driving now. I haven't yet passed my practical driving test, but I have passed my theory test, and we have gone driving recently, and I know that he can raise his voice and shout if he's seen a driver do something that he doesn't like as we're driving, or if I've done that thing that he doesn't like, he can raise his voice. But it seems like with my dad, even though he does this, it seems like in his head, he can very quickly forget things, or he could very quickly put things to the side, and then that's it. His emotions, he's let them out then and there immediately, and then it's gone. Whereas for me, for this entire time, for my entire life, until maybe now, I've been the complete opposite, where I wouldn't show as much emotion as he's done whilst I've been learning to drive with him. But long term, that would have insidious impacts. I would just stew and stew and stew and stew, even though no one was seeing this other than me, even though no one was experiencing what I was doing to myself other than me, with those stewing, that self-hatred, that soft-core self-harm, where I was scratching myself sometimes when I enacted an unwanted behaviour, regardless of how minor. I would do that sometimes, and with my left hand, I'd sometimes put pressure if there was a wound there, if I was picking, and I'd put pressure on that to feel pain. But why? I don't know why I do that. maybe in some sick, twisted way, I like that feeling of pain for whatever reason, or maybe I just got used to that feeling of pain. But I've I've certainly gone past that now. I don't do that anymore, and hence there are no, as you can see, look, there are no like there's no bleeding or anything like that, no scabs, no bleeding, because I haven't been doing it, and I stopped doing that a long while ago, maybe years ago. But yeah, I'd say I was doing that quite a while ago, maybe all the way up until anywhere from 16 to last year. Or maybe 16 to 18, I don't really know, I don't really remember. But I do care because it's a part of my story. It's an important part of my story. I think, yeah, there are other times when if I enacted the unwanted behaviour, sometimes I'd slap myself because I'd do that. Or if not, I'd sometimes slap myself to wake up. Maybe I'd slap myself to wake up like this more often than I would out of self-harm. Okay, so this was during high school times, honestly, more around like 14 to 16. I do those sorts of things, and then it slowly declined all the way to 18, and I eventually stopped. I can't say which age because I don't really remember, but it went something like that. But going back to middle school memories, I remember getting kicked in the balls, and my left testicle actually swole. It got swollen because of how hard I got kicked in the balls, and everyone knew about it. Everyone knew what happened. So I remember the feeling. I remember the feeling. I remember the leg going in between my thighs, or the foot rather going in between my thighs, and I remember the very initial impact, but not the pain. The very initial impact of getting kicked, but not the pain. And I think when feeling my testicle, I'm feeling my left testicle, it was very painful. But I don't remember that part where it was like immediately after, that amount of pain immediately after. All I remember is the gate, the year 5 to 6 gate. So it was like this basically, and we're talking about this gate here. So football got kicked over there by the year 7 to year 8 playground in that direction. I think the only thing that explains me getting kicked in the balls was it could have been me that kicked the ball over. That's the only thing in my mind that can explain why I got kicked in the balls in the first place. Surely, was that me that did it, or was it the guy? I don't remember. I really, really don't remember. But as far as I'm concerned, the only way that could explain why I got kicked in the balls in the first place is because I kicked the ball over. That's the only thing that can explain it. Otherwise, why was that happening? There's another memory that I had. I think of the same guy and I remember him one time as we were walking down a set of stairs maybe, and he purposefully bumped into me. But because I think he could have been older than I am, when he bumped into me, it had a lot of power. He had a lot of power compared to what I did, because he was physically more mature. He was slightly physically more mature and older. Back then, during middle school times, like 1 year difference could make a massive impact in terms of strength and power. So yeah, when he bumped into me, it was strong. But I just kept walking, from my memory anyway. It may have been on flat ground. It was in a school. It certainly no in a school. It was in middle school from my memory, and it was in a building for certain. This did not happen outside, but I don't remember exactly where. I think we were so maybe it was me walking down the stairs and he was walking up, or the other way around. I want to remember it being me walking down the stairs, but I'm now visualizing myself going down a high school staircase, not a middle school staircase. I don't know, but that's another memory that I have. And I was talking to I was gonna say talking to girls, but people knew what happened. And I remember at 10 I broke my wrist. People were saying that there was this one guy that tripped me up, and because of that I broke my wrist. What happened was I was on the left wing and I was running down the pitch. I was running down the pitch with the white football, and then what I thought happened was I fell, and then I put my hands out like this right in front of me, so I'll be able to protect myself or at least brace myself for impact. And then my wrist cleanly snapped. That's what this is. Can you see it? Yeah. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Look, see it there? That's the wrist. That's the pin, I think. And yeah, this is now how I'm able to use my left hand. All right, let's go again. I don't think there are any more memories really of any times I'd really be the one getting bullied. But other than there is the high school prejudice and other experiences that I'll talk about. But going back to the primary school event, I would have, yeah, I would have I would have told them to move, and if they didn't move, I'd just be like, okay, and I'd bang. That's what I do. And even these few words, I think that's now going to allow me to get rid of 11 years worth of resentment. I would have, trust me, or if I was unable to do it then, I would have at least learned how to fight, so that if something like that were to happen again, I'd then know how to protect myself. But I did tell the teachers about the throttling thing. Just ignore them, she said. And then so I think it was the shed. I think maybe it was after the shed thing. So maybe it was trapped me in between the shed, and then I told the teacher, and then she said, "Oh no, just ignore them." That makes sense because it's them, not him, them. So that actually makes sense. But and then the throttling could have happened, and then maybe I told the teacher again, but I don't remember. I don't exactly remember how it went down. I can only really speculate and guess. Maybe I can ask my dad about how he remembers things going down, but honestly, there's no need. I'm working through what I need to work through right now, and I don't need his help. Yeah. So there was that, and then I meet this guy later on down the line. He was a baller. I don't know if he still is, and that's none of my business. Oh, pardon me, jeez. But yeah, he was known to play basketball, and a lot of girls liked him, especially during middle school. And I heard that he was coupled up with someone during high school as well. We went to different high schools, but yeah, I heard that he was coupled up with another chick. Not that that's really that really matters anymore though. No, not at all. I remember, yeah. So I remember seeing this guy in year 9 now, and he was balling. I saw him hooping in the middle school assembly room, which was also used as a basketball court. And I really liked that court. I'd love to go shoot in there again, but the school's closed down, so there's no chance. There's no chance of that happening. The school's closed down. But maybe in the future I'll be so known I get special privileges to be able to go in that place and to hoop. Tee-hee. Yeah, tee-hee. We'll see. That'd be a pretty interesting place to hoop in, and all of the memories I'd have all of the assemblies. The one time in the assembly when I was to the left, far to the left in the corner of the room, or actually more like I was to the left of the head teacher and the head teacher's wife, and I was there with my cast. I was just there, and then they mentioned me. That's what I wanted. If I think it could have been the head teacher that asked if there's any request that you want. No, if there's any request that you can make, what would it be? And then it'd be to be mentioned in assembly. And then yeah, it was me and my cast in the from basically as far as away I could be from one of the doors. There were two sets of doors, yeah. So the again, this is my diagram of the court / assembly place. So there was the door here. There was a set of doors here, and I was about here. If I was maybe about here in the assembly room with my cast. And then there was another set of doors here. So there was a set of doors here and here, and then I was about here. So yeah, there was that time that I broke my wrist, and apparently they were saying, they being friends of mine at the time, they were saying, "Oh, he tripped you up. He tripped you up." He did. His real name was mentioned, of course, but I'm just saying, insert real name, tripped you up. I shouted, "Get a medic!" Like when I felt that feeling, what happened was I was on the floor and I was crying and I shouted, "Get a medic!" You know, if you've ever played Modern Warfare 3 and you've heard the death scene of you've watched or played the game and you've seen Soap's death scene, the way how Captain Price is shouting, "Get a medic," that was what was going through my mind at the time, and I shouted the same thing with the same tone, and it makes sense. If he tripped me up, it makes sense. If what they're saying is true, my friends of mine at the time, if they're saying that they tripped me up, it would make sense as to why he had such a shook look on his face when he saw me, and when I looked at his eyes and I shouted at him, "Get a medic." He ran. He sprinted. He hauled ass. He hauled ass. And you know what? The medics, they were the receptionists. And what did the receptionist say? You're faking it. Go get some paracetamol. They genuinely thought I was faking it. They were touching my wrist and they thought I was faking it. They thought I was chatting shit. You've cleanly snapped your wrist. Have a blue paper towel. Oh man. Maybe they didn't say they get the paracetamol part, I don't remember, but they genuinely thought I was faking it as they were touching up my wrists. I'm saying touching up as if it's something sexual. It wasn't. They weren't medics, they were receptionists. Fuck's sake. Jeez, look at the shoulders and the biceps. I think it's because of the angle. Looking bigger than usual, eh? But again, it could be because of how I twisted my body in the angle. But yeah. I think I was and still am a very strong fucking person. I didn't process my emotions towards being bullied in primary school at all, really. And then I don't have any memories of where I just took the time to sit down and process my emotions like how I am here. I didn't know how to do that when I was a child and when I was a teen. I didn't know. Yeah, I started a Red Pill channel at 18 going to 19, but I've deleted all the videos for that now. So I was making the basic self-improvement sort of videos. But now, like, that guy who made that channel, The channel was called Blue to Red. That guy who made that channel, no, just no. But the fact that you've done it is a start, and you've allowed me to get to this point today. You wanted change. You wanted to improve your life by going to the gym. You wanted to go to the gym a lot. But now look, we are here, and now I haven't been going to the gym recently because I've been so fucking busy filming this shit, filming all of the other series that I've made and that. So thank you very much. Even though you deleted all of the things that you made, it was sensible to, because that your ideas weren't your ideas ever. You were just a sponge talking about things that you've never gone through, just basically allowing yourself to be somebody else. AMS, Steph is Cold, Young Man's Daily Red Pill, now The Lonnie Spence Show, Coach Greg Adams, Anthony Spade. I'd watch Anthony Spade quite a bit in uni. I even paid for his Patreon, but I don't do that anymore now because I wasn't using it efficiently. It turned into no more than a hole in my pocket. I also paid for the FitX Fearless Patreon, but again, that turned into no more than a hole in my pocket. I thought I was going to learn from that, really. He made some videos, FitX Fearless, he made some videos about like trying to use a pump or something to increase dick size. I don't know what the fuck that is, but yeah, that was the sort of shit that was on there, because he couldn't post them on YouTube because they're very sexual and explicit. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to get his Patreon in the first place was for dating and leading on to sex, because as he showed clips of himself on the camera. It was placed like a prank video format, not CCTV, but more like a prank video sort of format where the camera's just there recording, and then they're watching something, and then they kiss, and that kiss leads on to sex, and that. I think because the sexual status was virgin and still is, maybe I was wanting to have sex a lot more than I was now, just based off the impulsive sexual thoughts that I may have had back then, but I don't remember having any really. During A-level times, I was not giving a shit, and I think because I knew I wasn't caring about girls during A-level times, and also GCSE times, yeah, girls like me a lot. Oh, it's not even worth getting into now, because that has nothing to do with the subject of bullying. Nothing. So how has it been 11 minutes? How has it been? It's 11 minutes and 50 seconds now since I filmed this clip here. I have no idea how, but yeah. The only thing that's just gone in through my mind right now is I would have swung, referring to the memory when I got trapped in the shed. I saw the primary school head teacher once in the co-op in the area. Just speaking of basically just heckling verbal abuse at her because of that event, in which it didn't seem like she really gave a shit when my dad was telling her, yo, like, my son's getting bullied, do something. I think what was happening was she didn't give a shit, and because maybe I knew that, or had that belief in my mind anyway, I was thinking of heckling her, calling her a cunt and all these things by the co-op, right by the co-op entrance. She said, yeah, she had the audacity to say hello. I didn't say anything. I held my tongue. I did not heckle her. I did not swear at her or anything like that. I think I either said nothing or I said hello back. I did not heckle her as I was thinking of doing or anything like that. No. Even though I may have thought she may not have been the best of She may not have been the most likeable of her teachers. She could have been racist. I don't know. Did I experience any racism during primary school? Bullying, yes, but racism, specifically racism. It could have happened, but I don't remember it happening. During primary school, no. But I do remember during high school, though, I had so much resentment towards. It clearly had so much resentment. Maybe even though I may not have thought of it like that back then, but I had so much resentment towards black people. Without even realizing it, I was creating that resentment through using the N-word, nigger this, nigger that, during middle school times. I even said it sometimes during high school, like saying, oh, like one of my friends asking, oh, would you ever get a Mr. T haircut? And me saying, no, I don't want to look like a fucking nig. In the French class, where the teacher was no more than there's no more than 10 meters away from me. I did say that. I wasn't saying that often, but I did say that. And going back to the middle school thing now, I was saying, yeah, what's up, my nigga, like, to this dark-skinned kid. And he was doing the same back to me, because he was like, oh, white people can't use that word, or other races can't use that word, but we can. I'm like, excuse you? As far as I'm concerned, there is such a thing as racism towards the same race. I remember this clip of I think an American rapper on DJ Vlad saying he doesn't like his skin color. That he resents himself. He hates himself so much that he doesn't even like his skin color, something that he couldn't control. But I think I was building up a resentment by saying things like, what's up, my nigga, and nigga this, nigga that, in middle school. This was just a short phase in the series of things. It was quite short. I remember this was outside in the field during lunchtime. Again, using this diagram, maybe it was like here in the field. Very close by the goalpost that was there, that had a net and everything. It was no less than 20 meters behind that goalpost. The field was massive, so there was a lot of space, and we were just running around saying those sorts of things. Disgusting, really. But without doing that, I wouldn't be able to realize, oh shit, saying that's fucking, it's racist. Why do you want to use the N-word? That was a term, it's a derogatory term for slaves, not a term of endearment as some rappers may use it. But I think all of those people who use it, no person who truthfully loves himself, as far as I'm concerned, uses racist words towards their own race, or to any race at all for that matter. Obviously, not showing racism to other races is a given, hence I've mentioned it second, but I'm saying, not saying things like, especially for black people, not saying things like, what's up my nigga, and all that. I really can't imagine any black person who truthfully loves himself would use a term that was made for them whilst they were held as slaves, whilst their ancestors were held as slaves. That's what it was for, as a derogatory term for their ancestors who were held captive and made slaves, who were enslaved. How is that a term of endearment? I'm in my head making the hypothesis that any black person who uses that hates themselves. They hate themselves. Even if it's fucking slightly, there's a problem. It's not, forget normal, it's not healthy. How can it be mentally healthy to be racist towards your own race? Come on. Like, hello, insert real name here. Hello, snap out of it, wake up. Racism towards your own race is absolutely not okay. Racism towards any other race is not okay. But here we are. Without it, I wouldn't be here. without those experiences happening, without me saying those things, I wouldn't be here. Without that hatred that I created during those times, I wouldn't be here. Was I saying those sorts of things during primary school? No, I wasn't. No, I don't think we even really learned about slavery until middle school. And a dark-skinned girl who admitted that she liked me, she was crying when Roots was being played. She was crying. I didn't cry, but she was. In the history class, I think she was either right in the front or right in the back. I don't remember, but I remember her crying. And it's also has meant I've now reminded myself of a time during religious studies in high school around year 10. I was thinking, why is it only black? I literally said to the teacher right at the back of the class, why is it only black people that are here? And then everyone was turning at me like, oh, don't say that, oh. Why are you saying that? And then she found a clip that was of white people too. Jeez. How has it been 20 minutes since filming this? I don't even know. It seems like I had a lot of resentment that I didn't even think about all the way up to fucking primary school. Pardon me. A lot of resentment was built due to being bullied, having experiences of being bullied, and also bullying. But I wasn't bullying during primary school, even though I may have made it sound like I was just then. No, I wasn't bullying. I wasn't troubling anyone during high school. No, during primary school. Middle school, I wasn't either, but I wasn't being bullied then. I did get kicked in the balls in either year 5 or year 6, but I did get kicked in the balls. Someone did bump into me one time, and I think that same guy kicked me. That same guy kicked me in the balls. And one time when I fell over, the ball hit my head because someone kicked it at me, and someone genuinely could have tripped me up as I was playing football, and then I snapped my wrist because of it, because I put my hands out as I was bracing for impact, but I didn't snap my right wrist, it was just my left. And I actually met someone in the hospital who did something similar, but who was in a goalkeeper position and his wrist bent back. And then we got each other's Xbox 360 gamer tag names. And then from there, we spoke for a little bit, but not often after a certain point, because we weren't going to the same school. We weren't, I don't think, anywhere near each other really to be able to have to build that relationship. So yeah, I didn't speak to that guy often. Not because I didn't want to, but we weren't in the same school. We weren't in the same friendship circle or anything like that to be speaking to each other. So we didn't keep a connection. The only connection we really had was through Xbox 360. But yeah, that didn't last for long. That relationship didn't last for long. And I'm not surprised it didn't, because again, we had no other connection. We had no in-person connection. It was just Xbox 360. So there was no way that was gonna last. If the connection is just internet, that's not gonna last. That's way too lightweight. It's been so long that it's right at the back, right here. This was hurting my very lower back, just above my coccyx. So I've pulled it down a little bit so I feel more comfortable. All right, yeah, just so I feel more comfortable, I'm doing this as well. Hands aren't on my dick though. Not that anyone needed to know that, but your mum and your dad. That's what I've got to say for that one. Wow, it seems like I had a lot of resentment all the way due to primary school and bullying experiences that I went through that I had to unveil. And it makes sense as to why I went and did bullying now. That could have been one of the main reasons, because I was bullied, and maybe that was my way. Oh fuck, yeah, because I went and bullied in the future from that point onwards. Because I went and bullied, maybe that was my way of getting them back. Because they trapped me in the shed. Maybe that was my way of releasing that fucking anger and that fear that I could have had when being trapped in the shed and not wanting to be bullied. Maybe all of that anger and me wanting payback, maybe I channeled that thought process and that energy without even realizing it into bullying people. Oh, that was just my back. As I just arched my back, all of the air just released from my back and under the mat. That wasn't me just farting. Okay, so middle school, was there any bullying I did? Even if it was minor, I'd say yes. I pushed a guy into a bush. And I apologized immediately the day after when I spoke to my dad about it. I apologized the day after because I didn't want him to go tell the teachers. Translation, I didn't want him to snitch. So I went and apologized the day after I found him. I found him and I apologized. I think that could have been a part of where I built that self-hatred for myself. Self-explanatory, self-hatred. That could have been a part of why I built self-hatred over the years, because it was like, what the fuck was I doing in middle school? Why did I do that? And why did I do what I did in high school and A-levels? Why? Why did I do that to these people? Yeah, middle school I did. I was gonna say no. In middle school, no. I was gonna say in middle school, no, I didn't, but I did. I did. I bullied in middle school. I did. Again, I pushed the guy into the bush. A guy, I pushed. This guy, he was going to the same middle school as me and we're in the same year. Maybe I was bullying him beforehand. What I'd usually do, if I were, during these times, if I were bullying someone, it was like I'd maybe pinch them, maybe, I don't think I'd punch them though. If anything, it was just me, like, not throttling them by the neck, but by the shoulders, like, shaking the small. There's this one guy in particular, I'd shake. It was like, oh yeah, we're having fun. No, I was bullying him. Let's be honest, that is not having fun. That's not having a laugh around. That's not having a joke. That's not a joke. That's not funny. How is that fun when I was shaking him around. I was shaking him around like a fucking rag doll. So what, he's smaller than me, so? Do I think I'd be doing that to someone that was taller than me? No, I wouldn't. It was like, because he was physically smaller than me, he was inferior to me or something like that. I don't think that's how I think, but I didn't even realize. I don't think I ever even realized that I was, straight up, I was bullying that guy. I was bullying that kid. And I think I could have been doing something similar to the guy that I pushed into the bush. But when I pushed him into the bush, that was it. I wasn't, like, I did not want to be known for doing that. Even though there are many people around when it happened. What happened was I pushed him into the bush and then I ran. I pushed him into the bush and I fucking ran. I legged it. I legged it. During these times, I think I'll probably get the bus home. Yeah. So if I wasn't going to after school club or after school activity sort of thing, where for the kids whose parents weren't able to pick them up immediately, I wasn't there, and I was. I don't think I was. Oh, was I? I don't think so. I don't. I really don't think so. I was going to that same place during middle school. I was, and then I left on the very last day of year 7, and then year 8 I stopped going. I think this may have happened, me pushing him into the bush happened year 7, year 8. I don't remember, but it was maybe anywhere from year 6 to year 8, in fact. I don't really remember me pushing him into the bush. That memory of me doing that and him falling into the hedges, that is very vivid. Me doing that and legging it, that is very vivid. I vividly remember doing that. And I apologized to him the day after. Not because, I don't think it was because I was feeling sorry, but it was out of fear. I don't think I was no, I don't think I was sorry at all. I don't think I was sorry that I did that at all, but I just apologized out of fear that he'd snitch and then I'd be seen that way. I think that was the real reason as to why I was apologizing, not because I regretted my actions. I think it was only because I felt fear of what he could say and go and tell the teachers, because what he'd be saying would be the truth, or maybe he can go one step further and exaggerate the truth. People will believe him because his story is truthful enough, or he may have been an amazing liar. But even if he would have been telling some truth in there about how I pushed him into a bush. Yeah, I did. And I'd like to use this platform to say I'm sorry to that person, for the sake of just being able to let that go and actually being able to move forward from that place of resentment where I'd been bullied in primary school. And then I potentially started bullying because of those events, and I didn't work through those events. I didn't go and confront these people. No, I didn't. I spoke to the black-haired guy as if he was one of my friends, even though he did that. But I want to talk about it later, and I have addressed it earlier on in the video. I stopped doing that because of those primary school events and me remembering them later on when we were no longer going to the same school. When he went to a different high school that I went to, I stopped doing that. Yeah, so there was me shaking one guy around like he's a fucking rag doll. There's me pushing the guy into the bush and potentially shaking him around like a rag doll as well. What else? Any other sort of bullying that I did during middle school? I could have sworn at people a lot, maybe, but that was, compared to those things, that was minor. No, I really think I've squeezed the water out of the cloth here. I think any sort of hatred or resentful memories, any memories that held resentment, that was being a burden to me mentally and potentially even physically. Mentally, so much that I could have been burning myself physically. I think they're all gone now. So for me, primary school, being trapped in the shed, there was a memory being trapped in the shed and the blonde kid gripping my throat lightly. Me telling the teacher about being trapped in the shed and being told just ignore them. Me and my dad going to the head teacher speaking about these events and her not giving a shit, really. Me seeing this head teacher headmistress even, sorry. It's me seeing this headmistress and wanting to heckle her by the co-op and call her very foul things, like calling her a cunt and that, because of the lack of care she gave to people that was there at the school. Could it have been racism? I don't know, maybe. Or maybe it was just a straight up lack of care. And to be fair, does she, even though it is her duty to as a head teacher, in my opinion, does she have to care? No. She's getting paid. I mean, does she have to care? No, not really. Plus, it's very, to want to heckle her came from a very selfish place. I had no idea. I didn't even consider until right this moment to think of, you know what? Even though these things were happening in the school and it seemed like she didn't care about me being bullied or my dad telling her about me being bullied, even though that was the case and those things did happen, and she did fail to show a lack of, she did fail to show responsibility to one of the pupils going there, to our standards, me, my family and I standards. Maybe she, imagine that, a fully grown adult, maybe she had major problems going on in her life. Maybe she was going through a divorce. Maybe she was going through grief. Maybe she was, maybe she lost a friend. Maybe she was just a straight up prick. I'm not even saying that passive aggressively. I don't know. But until this fucking moment, right this moment, I've never thought, hold up a sec. Yeah, I did experience bullying in primary school, and it seemed like she wasn't doing anything to help actually prevent that. Maybe she was going through issues and things that she had to solve but potentially wasn't solving. Maybe she was drowning her sorrows in wine. Stereotypically speaking, she was of that age. Maybe she was going through shit. I've never in my life have thought of it like this. Maybe she had problems that she was going through and that she was experiencing, that she wasn't telling anyone, teachers or students. Maybe she was a straight up prick. Maybe she was. But I've never even considered. Maybe she had issues going on in her life. Maybe she lost her dad. Maybe she lost her mum. Maybe she lost her family. Any one of her family members. Maybe numerous, let alone one. She was of that age where her parents could have been at the stage where they're so old they're ready to die, because they're not actually chasing fulfillment out of life. Maybe she was going through shit. I remember her having a smug smile on her face during primary school once. With that blurry memory in mind, maybe she was just a straight up prick. I don't know, but I've never even considered. Okay, it is recording. I've never even considered. You know what? Maybe she was going through shit. Never. Wow, that was 10. I thought it would have been like half an hour or something, but yeah, I've just checked the timestamp. This clip has only now been like 10.5 minutes. I've never in my life thought of it like that. And I've still got so much to go through. Oh, fuck. I genuinely am gonna get a pillow. I think after this I'm going for a walk. I'm so done. I don't actually know what the time is, hold on. I've been filming this maybe for like 2 hours or so now. I started at like 3, 3:15 or something. Now let's see what the time is. 20 past 5. It's 20 past 5 as I'm filming this. Crazy. Yeah, this clip has just been like, oh. I put the rug under my coccyx so it doesn't hurt as much. It feels comfortable, but I can do one better and use the pillow. Let me just do that. Guys, if you're ever going through serious videos and you're making serious videos like how I am, and it's getting long, get comfortable. There's no need to go through physical pain as you're undoing mental pain. No need. A bit. Oh. Oh, beautiful. But okay, yeah, I've never even considered that maybe she had issues that she was going through. But it did look like, I vividly remember her having a smug smile once during primary school, but I think that could have been the smile that I saw her give me when she said hello at the co-op. Maybe she was just a straight up prick. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. Maybe she's dead now. I don't know. And honestly, if she is dead, life goes on. That may sound really harsh. But yeah, if she did die, and if she is dead, I'd feel no way. Like, none. I would not feel any unhappy about that. It's like, if she did die, I'd be like, oh, I had no emotional connection to this woman, and if it just sounded like she just did not give a shit. Genuinely could have been a racist head teacher. Maybe not. And I think, yeah, I regardless of how harsh it sounds, I would feel no way if she did die. None at all. I literally said in the clip that I edited out, I said, if she is dead, I don't care. I didn't say it that quickly as I've just said it now. It was much slower than that, but But even still, yeah. Me saying this, I think me saying I don't care if she died absolutely could come from a place of resentment, even though it may at first glance seems like it's coming from a place of indifference. She genuinely could have been a racist head teacher, head mistress. She genuinely could have been a racist head mistress. But how is it that I'm showing resentment towards something that could have been, when these memories are no longer vivid in my mind? It's time I let them go. Forget the head teacher. What happened. If she was racist, if she had racist views, if she really did not give a shit about the bullying that was going on in the school, like, that's okay. That has nothing to do with me anymore. That's a part of the past. The bullying that I experienced and the bullying I was doing is a part of the past, and I'm using this video to be able to let that go and to be able to actually move on with my life. I wouldn't think about these consciously. I absolutely would not be thinking about these consciously, but they could have been things that were subconsciously in my mind that I needed to get rid of, and that I have been needing to get rid of potentially ever since I was 8 years old, because of what was going on in that primary school and the bullying I experienced in that primary school. Didn't happen often at all, but I remember those two events very vividly, of being trapped in the shed and him, the blonde guy, putting his right hand, it was his right hand, on my neck. Even if it's lightly, it doesn't matter. That's still fucking ridiculous. And if that were to happen now, straight bang, because he's put his hands on me, that's just straight up self-defense. Regardless of how light it is, that does not matter. That guy, right now, if he tried doing that, he would have got a black eye. I would have swung at him. You fucking mad. No one's just putting his hands on my neck and then he's not getting away, and then he's getting away with it scot-free. No, something's got to happen to him. Must happen to him. How are you just gonna put your hands on me and then I don't protect myself? No way you're putting your hands on my neck and then I'm not protecting myself and I'm not fighting. What the fuck? You think I'm talking? It's gone past the point of talking. It's gone past the point of talking. It's time to swing. It's time to swing and hurt. Make them experience pain. Pain that they were trying to make me experience. I can let it go now. No way someone's doing that to me and then they're getting away with it scot-free. No way. No way. How am I just allowing myself to just be throttled like that? Like a fucking waste man. But I didn't know how to fight. 1, 2, I genuinely could have been like 9 years old. And I wasn't learning how to fight. My parents were getting by. They were making ends meet. How are they gonna, if their priorities are based on making ends meet, how are they gonna think about, let's make our son live his life to his fullest, make sure that he knows how to protect himself when he's older. I didn't get that, so I need to do what I have to do and go to the boxing and taekwondo clubs because my parents didn't teach me that. My mum nor dad taught me how to fight. If anything, that's probably my dad's responsibility, seeing as he's a man. What are the odds that mothers are out there swinging? Even though it absolutely can happen, I don't need studies and facts to be able to know that it has. But what are the odds that that's happening really? But now that just me saying that, if someone were to put his hands around my neck, I'd swing. Yeah, I feel very secure within myself. I feel at peace. I can let it go. There's no way you're just doing that and then you're getting away with it scot-free. No, you're getting a black eye. You'll know me. You'll know me. If you think you know me at that point in time, you'll know me more. You'll know me. You'll know the pain that I can cause you. You're not just gonna put your hands around my neck and then I don't do anything to you. No. No. No, you won't. In my head, I was just thinking of saying, I'm now, in my head, I've just had the thought, I now feel at peace with the sort of person I was, the sort of person I am, and the sort of person I am becoming. Because I'm due to allowing myself to become that person. The sort of person I was when I was a kid, loving life, but then started getting bullied. The sort of person I was when I was doing the bullying. And the sort of person I was when extremely minor things, not quite bullying, but the relationship wasn't friendly either. Extremely small things were going on. Not quite bullying, not quite at that level, but like extremely minor abuse. Abuse is, in my head, like a strong word, like physical abuse where you're hitting people constantly. But that's the only word that I could think to describe it right now. I'm talking about me being pinched, punched, and Adam, a girl that I've named Adam, in the science club one time when she threw something at me, an object at me. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if that's bullying. The only thing I could come up with is like really light abuse. Abuse is a strong word, but I can't find anything else to describe it other than to say like petty sort of stuff, small sort of stuff, not anything major. But yeah, it's been over like 2 hours since I pressed the record button on the first clip, and like it's only now I'm thinking, oh, I really need to get into this. But yeah, I've already gone through how I bully in middle. It was more like the pinching. Maybe sometimes I do that thing where you twist someone's wrist. I remember feeling this. I remember someone doing this to me in the year 6 maths class, and how much pain it was like. It was like, wow, wow, that's a lot. And I think I remember trying it out on someone else as well. But I wouldn't really do that often. It was more throttling people by the shoulders, just shaking them around like they're a rag doll. Small people especially. 2 people in particular. No, certainly one, but maybe 2 people at least. That's how I do it in middle school. But I didn't consider this as bullying. It was having fun. I was laughing, he was laughing. I thought that was just fun, but I never really thought that that could have been a place. That could have in reality been coming from a place of where I was feeling resentment and hatred because I wasn't processing my emotions towards being bullied in primary school. Those 2 events of being trapped in this shed and the guy placing his hand around my neck. I just had the impulsive thought, if I saw him again. But come on, man, that happened how long ago? 11 years ago. It's okay, just it's time to move on. After 11 years, yeah, at least minimum 11 years, minimum, could be 12. But yeah, it's time to let that go and move on. That's what I said before the clip just switched, but I edited that part out because of background noise. So yeah, it really is. It's time to let it go. It's okay, man. It may, regardless of how strange I may think it could be to say this, but you know what? All of the experiences that I had of being bullied, I forgive those people. I forgive him for placing his hand around my neck. But if I were to see him again and he were to try anything like that, even if he were to test me, to give me like a passive aggressive comment, I'd instantly pull him up on that shit, and anyone up on that shit for that matter. You're not doing that to me. You're not just doing that to me and I don't say something, let alone do something. Yeah, and now I can, instead of being a fucking waste man and not doing anything to anyone, even though he did do that, the only way that I'm going to be able to move past this resentment is to be able to forgive him. So you know what? In my head, I'm thinking of your real name. You. I forgive you for doing that to me. I forgive you. For myself, I forgive you in order to grow as a person. Because if I don't forgive you, I'm going to hold that resentment forever, regardless of how minor and how little I do it. I'm going to hold it forever if I don't forgive him or you. I'm thinking of your real name, you. I forgive you for doing that to me. It's okay. It's okay. No one's going to fucking try and do that shit to me again. No, that won't run. Reminds me of this one girl that gave a passive aggressive comment to me when I was speaking to Isaac, I said to him, do you remember the email I sent you? And then she just, even though I wasn't speaking to her, she just blurted out no to me. Yeah, I could certainly pull her up on it. It's like, no, you're not doing that to me, and I don't say anything. But that's like me having to prove a point. You can do what you want, like, as if that's gonna do anything for me, as if that's gonna benefit me in any way. What I'm really thinking of saying is, that personality is the fucking ick. How you gonna like? How are you expecting anyone to like you if you're just that sort of person, that sort of sarcastic person, or that sort of passive aggressive person? When you're just giving passive aggressive comments to strangers you don't even know, that aren't even talking to you. But if I were to try and pull her up on it, I could be putting. If I were to, I could be putting myself in a position where I'm actually stooping down to her level. Fuck that. She can stay with that sort of energy by her goddamn. She can stay with that energy her goddamn self. I genuinely think that sort of personality is worse than a girl having a yeast infection. Seriously, like I'm not even joking. Because the yeast infection, that won't last, or at least as far as I'm aware, won't. Like the girl will want to do or something. Like the girl will want to change that. But the passive aggressive comments and the sarcasm, that's probably going to be there for the rest of her life, especially if she's not on self-improvement or self-improvement. I don't know if girls really know about this sort of self-improvement thing. I don't really think it's really known right now, but trust me, it's on the way to being very, very, very fucking known. Yeah. Because of not my efforts, as I was thinking of saying in my head, but our efforts. I've decided to take this to the bed, but I'm just going to be sitting here, not because I want to lie down. This is what I thought of sitting, because I don't want to lie down anymore. I've done that for a very long time, for like hours. I've been filming since 27 past 3. It's now 5 past 6. And we're still going. So it's about time I wrap this up and I really get deep into the final things. So I was saying with this black-haired guy, one of the guys that trapped me in the shed from my memory during primary school. We went to the same schools from primary school. We're in the same school, secondary school, no, middle school. We're in the same school, and then we parted ways to go to different upper schools. So one of them was a well-known upper school. The other that I went to, the one that he went to was a well-known upper school in the area. The one that I went to was a well-known upper school in the area. But there were the odd few that went to a different upper school that wasn't so well-known. And we had parted ways. So now that we've parted ways, we weren't in the same school together because we were going to different schools. And I now see him again. I felt absolutely no fear when seeing this guy again, but he was a basketballer, and there was someone that I recently met at the time who was also a basketballer and very tall compared to the rest of us. And this tall basketballer that was going to the same school, the same high school as me, he was asking me, why don't you want to speak to him? Because I let the guy who trapped me in the shed know, no, I don't want to speak to you. And the basketballer that I was going to the same school with now, that I recently just met, after shooting some hoops with him, and I was thinking, how is he getting all these shots in? One time during year 9, very early stages of high school, I was thinking, how is he getting all these shots in? And that's how we started to know each other. And then from there, me and this guy, and the guy that I have vivid memories of trapping me in the shed with, this guy basically. No need to try and use long words. Not that I'm trying to sound fancy, but I don't have to always make myself clear every single time, even though I make the effort to do so all the time. Don't have to necessarily every single time. If you keep on doing it over and over again, sometimes just let it go. But anyway, the reason why I'm saying that is because sometimes just correcting myself with my extremely minor things, extremely minor wording like that, it's more hassle than it's worth to just carry on attempting to sort it out again and again. But anyway, yeah, this guy that I have memories of who bullied me and trapped me in the shed. We were all, us three were in the same place, right outside the upper school that me and the taller than average basketballer went to. We were by the turning circle. That was right in front of the entrance. Literally like no more than 15 steps away, or no more than, I'd say no more than 5 meters away from the main school entrance and exit. Yeah, and then afterwards, he was just asking me, why don't you want to speak to this guy? And I didn't answer. I didn't directly answer. I just said, because I don't. Because I don't. That was the reasoning I gave. Because I don't. Maybe that answer was coming from a place of resentment, an inability to clearly articulate myself, and maybe it was coming from a place where it was like, I barely know you, it's none of your business, like back off. I think that's what it was. Because that's what it was. I know, now that I'm thinking about it more, I didn't want to explain myself to him. I didn't have to. Who the fuck is that guy? He's not necessarily the new kid, but we were all new to the school. I don't know him to be talking about such personal things like that to him. I didn't know him like that. But I didn't know how to say, hey yo, that's not your business, back off. Yeah, that's something that I've been wanting to say since year 9. But I didn't have any problems with that guy that I went to the same high school with. No, I didn't have any. No issues. I remember him asking me questions during the English spoken assessment for GCSE during year 10, when the camera was in my face, and my heart was pumping. It was in between my chest, that same feeling again, but not of fear, not that adrenaline rush. It was more like I felt the heart pumping. But I mean now, like, I know about cameras. I know about cameras being in my face. So if I were to do that shit now, especially knowing that school is really no more than just a place that I was just going to out of habit, not because I was actually learning anything there. But yeah, I feel happy that I've at least realised that for some people, they actually are learning long things that they can use in their life long term. But for me, maybe like most people, or my perception of most people, I should be saying rather, yeah, I didn't learn much that was useful in school. And if I were to go back, I'd probably make an entire club. Because in my high school, as an A-level student, you could make your own clubs in this school that I went to. I'll make a club about things school don't teach you. I was actually thinking of making a podcast series, an entire podcasting series, based on just that sort of thing. What school doesn't teach you, maybe experiences that I've had in my life. Maybe I can actually make that a video. Oh, actually no, I've made a video idea, a serious video idea that I've been wanting to work on. As in, the way I titled it was things I would have liked to have been taught at school. Those are the sorts of things that I'd like to not only teach. I don't want to be a teacher or anything, but I want to educate myself on them. That something school didn't teach us to do. But yeah, I feel very happy I'm not in school anymore. Fuck that place. Fuck all those schools. I don't want to be in school anymore, because not being in school has meant that I'm now in a place where I'm actually transforming my life and doing what matters, doing things I actually can apply into my life, instead of just learning subjects. Learning subjects. They make you seem like you're learning something, when in reality I certainly wasn't learning anything useful, anything that I could apply in my real life there. No, I wasn't. And it wasn't like the teachers wanted to put us in a place where we're actually thinking for ourselves, to be able to live the lives we truthfully wanted to live, not the lives that our parents set out for us. But if it didn't go that way, I mean, I probably wouldn't be here. But honestly, even if it did, what are the odds that I'd appreciate that thing back then, when I was feeling such a large fucking sense of hatred towards myself, basically everyone. There were quite a few people, friends of mine, that I didn't feel any sort of hatred towards, but when it was people in school, and if I did feel a sense of hatred towards them because of what they'd done to me, the hatred I had was strong, very fucking strong. But if it wasn't, then yeah, I have a strangeness with you, or I was cool with you. One guy, for example, the one guy who called me a nigger outside the form class in year 9, I had a strong hatred towards him for him saying that to me, because I didn't follow his Instagram account, and I never forgave him. I never forgave him. Insert real name here. I'm forgiving you for saying that, and I'm also forgiving the other person that said, who called me a slave, his slave, in the science class in year 10. I'm forgiving you as well, because if I don't, I would forever be living in a place of hatred where I hate these people, and that sense of hatred will most likely will mean that I bring that out. I show that sense of hatred that I have in some other areas in my life, potentially even my dating life, somehow, some way, or even in like when I'm talking to friends. Like through having very little tolerance for shit. Like saying, oh, if you've said something I don't like, regardless of how minor, I'm going to stop speaking to you for like a week. This is the way that I was thinking during A-levels. Because that guy who called me a nigger outside the form class, he did that just the one time. I don't know if he apologized, I don't remember, but that guy, he actually made up the fact that he had a girlfriend. In my head, I was just thinking, what a waste, man. And in I think during like A-levels and GCSE times, like he was trying to make jokes, like sexual jokes, and touch up my shoulders, and I think he was just doing that just to annoy me, really. Maybe he'd forgotten where my place of hatred came from. I had a strong hatred for that guy. I built a strong hatred for that guy because I didn't forgive him. There's no way I could have forgiven him. Otherwise, why is it only now that why is it that I'm still having to release it now? If I had forgiven him earlier and beforehand, how is it that I'm only releasing it now? How is it that I'm only releasing it since I've left school? A long while after I've left school. Well over a year. The uni was trying to tell me, unfortunately, you're no longer coming to this class, or unfortunately you've been withdrawn from the class. Unfortunate. Unfortunate for who, we say it. Unfortunate for who? But it genuinely could just be like, oh, just try and imply that you'd want to come to uni. Nah, no, I don't. And I certainly don't want to go back to that uni. Nope, I don't want to go back to uni at all. You don't have to go to university to live a life you truthfully want to live. That's not where I get my fulfillment from. And if I were to go through that life again, no, I just wouldn't. There's no if. I wouldn't. I won't. I won't for anything. I will not go back to that way of life for anything, because I know that I know the sort of stress that I was making myself experience because of it. It was just one massive stressful distraction, one massive stressful debt-giving distraction, debt-providing distraction. No, I'll never for anything go back to university. I don't have to go back to school either. Not for anything. It's about time I live my life through how I want to live it, not through the life that my parents have tried to set out for me. No. With the way how I'm eating, I could become a model. I could become a model. I could do that and have many other fun things that pay me. Don't have to go back to school. Sure as hell I'm not going back to uni. And I certainly don't plan to go back to college. Speaking of school times, I used to think that my way of thinking of college, by the way, I'm not talking about university. Americans call college university. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more like after high school, but before university. Yeah, I vividly remember saying that college is the sewage system of education, and I can understand. College is the sewage system of education, except if you're going for music. This is my way of thinking during my teenage years back then, and I can understand why I thought that way. Because the data that I had was very unrepresentative, shall we say, of the sorts of people that were going to college in its entirety. I can understand why I thought that way though, because the only sorts of people that I was seeing going to college were just chavs, people that had nothing going for them, slags, maybe people that were just the people that tried acting cool, potentially because of their own major insecurities and family problems going at home and family dysfunction. Maybe there's no dad at the home, maybe there's no mum in the home, maybe one of their parents is dead, maybe they're orphans, maybe they're in YMCA. But I only saw these sorts of people going to college. And maybe I called college a sewage system of education because I saw them go there. That's as far as I've thought recently, but now I think maybe it wasn't me actually thinking of college as a sewage system of education, but I was thinking that these people that I was seeing were the sewage system of society. Sewage to society, these sorts of people, these chavs and slags. That's what I was thinking. I think that genuinely could have been what I was thinking. That because these people that I, without even knowing it, thought that these people were sewage to the world, sewage to society, because they were going there. The college system is now sewage. It's the sewage system of education. Those were the only sorts of people that I was seeing going to college. Not fully grown adults that actually want to change their life around for the better. I really don't want to make a part 2, but there's still one more thing that I want to get into, which I haven't yet done, which is the last step of being able to work through this. So I was talking about my experiences of getting bullied in high school, my experiences of things happening to me, like getting kicked in the balls, a football being kicked on my head lightly after falling over and as I'm crying on the floor by the fence. I talked about my experiences of bullying people, me pushing that guy into the bush and me shaking another person around by their shoulders like they're a fucking ragdoll. I've talked about meeting that black-haired white guy again. It doesn't matter that he's white, by the way. Yeah, just for adjectives describing sake. But now, I don't want to make a part 2 to this right now because I'm so close to finishing. So yeah, there's this guy in let me introduce the topic. Sorry, I'm now gonna get into my experiences of like very minor things happening to me, like being pinched, punched, and that one time the chick that I've decided to name Adam threw something at me. Is there any need to really call her Adam? Maybe that's coming out of a place of resentment, so let's call her Ella instead. This chick, Ella, I don't even want to call her chick, girl. This girl, Ella. To me, man, the way how she was acting was rather childish, with the pinching and the light punches. And the one time she threw something at me at the science class, I shouted her name out, her real name out, of course. Everyone heard it, and the teacher went and spoke to her afterwards. I think she genuinely had. I heard someone talk to me about her having, or I potentially overheard someone. I think that's how it went. I overheard someone talk about how she had family problems. She was having family problems at home with her dad or her mum or something. Maybe her dad, like she was having serious family problems at home. And I think because of that, she was acting out that way. So there was that, and then there was this girl, the girl who was this girl's brother. This girl I was sitting next to in A-level biology for both year 12 and year 13 in the same room. This girl's brother, who was very young, I'm not going to say his age. He was prepubescent. I won't say his age just for anonymity's sake. He was prepubescent and he was in the double digits. There you go. Take what you want to get from that. So yeah, this guy was doing the same thing that chick Ella was doing. I think I'm now able to completely let go of that resentment by no longer calling her a boy's name, but instead a girl's name. Yeah. Ella. Yeah, she was he was doing the same things as Ella was. Let's call him Harrison. Harrison was doing those same things at basically just turned double digits. And he was doing the same sort of things that someone that was a teenager was doing. The teenager was doing the same sort of things that someone that was just around turning double digits was doing. This was happening in a science club after school. And the reason why I went to the science club anyway, well, because it was like, oh yeah, why not? Yeah, I can go to this science club with this girl, maybe just to get to know her better. I think that's what I was wanting to do, with no intentions of dating her, even though it may sound like that by talking about, oh, I want to get to know her. But I think that's why I was doing it, really, with no intentions of dating, or perhaps at least no intentions of dating that I realised anyway. Even though I think I may have fancied her, because with the way I was touching her hands and shit, I might have done. She had a fat ass. Like, round. It was massive. I don't know how a white chick had an ass so fat, but yeah, it was wham. It was wham. Her ass was fucking fat. Her ass was fat. Right, well that's enough of that. Yeah, it was. Yes, she was curvy, to say the least. But I mean, nowadays, I've freed myself from my sexual urges, so it's like, even though it looked like I was about to lick my lips while speaking about her, no, I wasn't. Yeah, I've freed myself from that way of thinking now. But from my memory, I've never really thought directly, like, I thought, oh, maybe I could have fancied her, but I've never thought, yeah, you know what, she got fat ass. No, no. Even though she did, I don't remember thinking like directly like, yeah, I done looked. I done looked. I remember looking one time during the whilst we were waiting outside one of our A-level biology classrooms. Maybe she was talking to someone else, or maybe she was talking to me. I think maybe she was talking to someone else. I was just looking down. I saw her. I saw a fat ass. I think I made it clear. Like, okay, she was curvy. Okay, I think that's enough. Like, let's calm it down now. Rather ironically, actually the person that I'm talking about, that I'm about to talk about, that I say I was bullied, was her boyfriend. What are the odds? What are the odds? Look at that, there's some character development. But yeah, it is true. This guy that I bullied and the chick that I sat next to in the A-level biology, nearing the end stage of the A-levels, they actually got together and they were in a full-on dating relationship, even though this guy carried himself in a way that was camp. But yeah, like I literally saw them kiss right in front of me. He called her an angel, and then they kissed outside the school gate. Yeah, I think there was a gate at the time. Like, I'd been there for quite a long time, and they added gates sometime nearing the end stages of when I was there during A-level times. So I actually remember what the school looks like without gates. But now I'm hearing there's this gate, that, all of these gate sort of things outside the front. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I have a 2-hour video, but it's been 3 hours. It's literally been 3 hours and 10 minutes. Come on, end it. End the video. Talk about what you want to talk about, for fuck's sake. Hurry up. It's been filming for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Come on. All right, listen. So this guy, this chick's boyfriend, this guy, he was, compared to the rest of us, was extremely unique. And the way how he carried himself, what he wore, how he spoke, unique, very fucking unique. And to get straight to the point, that was a part of why I bullied him. And I'll explain what I mean. So this guy, he could articulate himself so fucking clearly, even like at age 15. I don't know when I first met him. It was when I joined Set 2 English. I must have met him, because we were in the same form class during A-levels, but we weren't in the same form class during GCSE times. I remember maybe it was at 15 when I joined Set 2 English, around this time. Yeah. Or maybe I was in Set 2 English the whole time, and then, oh no, I don't really remember. But yeah, I met this guy whilst we were doing GCSE English together, and because he could articulate himself so clearly, I'm not even joking. Like, this guy, he was sounding, let's say he was an old soul. in a very, very young man's body, like 14, 15 and 16. This guy could articulate him so clearly, and I think to get straight to the point now, because he could articulate himself so clearly and I wanted that ability, I bullied him because of it, mocking how he laughed, mocking how he spoke, when in reality I wanted to speak in a similar way. I actually had a stage where I was saying things like, I vividly remember saying after something, it was like, I've done so, Father. I remember saying that to my dad when I was going through a stage when I was speaking like him, due to my own inability to be able to articulate myself clearly. That was me, that was probably my attempt at trying to solve that issue. It's gone. That part of life where I was thinking that sort of way, when I really wanted to improve my articulation, that's gone now. Like, I've done that. I've already been there, done that. Could it improve? Yeah, by learning more words in the dictionary for sure, and reading more, yeah, for sure. But I feel content with where I'm at in terms of my articulation skills and how I speak to people. How I treat people as well. I feel content and at peace with how I do that now. I'm not doing any wrong to people, and I know that I may speak in a more irritated way to my parents, especially my dad, if I feel dehydrated, because he can want to speak to me very often, just to ask like how I am and how things are doing, how things are going and that. Yeah, I really think I bullied him due to my own inability to articulate myself clearly, and I wanted that ability. I really think I wanted that ability to be able to speak my mind clearly to my parents, to let them know how I was thinking and feeling, instead of just holding my tongue maybe. I believed I wasn't being listened to when they were saying, no, you can't get a job. But I think maybe it was just that they weren't telling me what I wanted to hear when I was asking, can I get a job along with doing school? But I think that's probably why I wanted the articulation. I knew I can articulate myself as clearly as how I was thinking in my mind. How I'd say it, how I'd word it is, I wanted to learn how to make people understand me how I understand myself. That was how I'd word it. But it's just basically speaking, I wanted to learn how to articulate myself better for those reasons, so I could clearly explain myself to other people and people know exactly what I mean and how I've thought of it in my head. How I've thought of it meaning in my head and how I wanted it to come off in my head. Yeah, and because I didn't have that ability, I potentially could have had insecurities about that, and because of those insecurities, I could have bullied him, like mocking him, maybe even pinching him. I don't think I was punching him. Sometimes I may have been shaking him like a rag doll, maybe from time to time again. Even though there are some times that I'd say that I believed I liked him, there are some times when I'd say I believed I disliked him quite a bit, even though he didn't trouble me, he didn't do anything wrong or anything like that. He wasn't the one bullying me. Even through all the fucking shit I gave him, nothing. He didn't give me that same sort of energy, not even once. And I'm fucking sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for doing that to you. But I'm forgiving myself for what I've done, because I've now realised how fucking not okay that is. How bullying people is not okay. I don't think I even really considered it as bullying. There was one thing that I did to him, maybe something similar, like the shaking him around like a rag doll, or something that I said to him that even I believe was crossed the fucking line. So I apologise to him for that. But other than that, not really. But I'd like to apologise and say sorry to you. Seems like I'm forgiving not only other people, but I'm forgiving myself for what I've done unto others. Potentially because of what's been done onto me, but past Primary school, my hands weren't fucking clean. Me pushing the guy in the bush, shaking the guy like he's a fucking rag doll. Sure, I got kicked in the balls and someone could have tripped me over whilst I was playing football and I was running down the left wing, potentially to go and score a goal. Let's move past that now. I forgive myself for all of these things that I've done, and I forgive other people for what they've done to me, like being like the two guys that trapped me in the shed, and the same one of those two guys putting his right hand around my neck. I know it was his right hand because it came around from my left, like how you're seeing it on the camera, or at least how I'm seeing it on the camera. It came from the left side, so his hand was like this. His right hand was like this. His right hand was extended like this around the left. I remember coming around my left, and it was, yeah, he placed his hands around my neck like that. Maybe my hand was there and then his was like this as well. I don't remember, but I just remember it being more like just his hand there. His hand was certainly there, but there's no way I'm accepting that. If someone were to do that to me, I'm banging them in the face. I'm giving them a black eye. I was thinking maybe get kicked on the floor. Nah, there's no need for that, but I'm certainly protecting myself. I think if you were to kick someone on the floor, like that now you're being the aggressor. That's not self-defense, you're being the aggressor. Sure, you protected yourself by punching the guy in the face, sure, because he put his hand around your neck. He could have wanted to kill you by strangling you to death. Okay, fine. But like kicking him on the floor, he wasn't doing anything to you at that point in time, so no, I wouldn't want to do that as an impulsive thought. It just made me think I wouldn't want to do that at all. No. It was a visualization, not me saying it in my head. It was me picturing it in my head, really. Yeah, that was me doing the bullying. That was the only person I'd say that I actually did that to during high school. Yeah, that was it. And then the Ella chick and what did I call him? Harrison. I was going to say Harvey, but no, Harrison, the prepubescent kid. He was doing like the pinching, the punching, just like how Ella was. And I forgive them for that as well, especially Harrison, because just like how his sister, the girl that was sitting next to me during biology, like he literally was just a kid. Yeah, did I call him a dickhead? Yeah. I thought he was a dickhead you. I thought he was a dickhead child. Yeah, I did. And would I still be inclined to think that way? Yeah, I can. You don't know me. You don't know me to be doing that. You don't know what could happen to you if you do that. But I mean, I'm not holding that resentment for one, because that means I just hold that for the rest of my life against someone that's prepubescent. Come on, you're better than that. That's number one. And number two, I mean, I'm not gonna be like that old self of me, that old version of myself where I'm just holding hate against things anymore. Now I'm done with that way of life. But yeah, I've spoken about it now in the space of 10 minutes. It's gone. I forgive myself for the bullying that I did, and for the bullying that was done onto me, for the racism, all of the racist comments that I experienced. I forgive them for saying it, and the girl that unironically called me a terrorist, I forgive her for saying that as well. Just to be able to free myself from all of that anger and hatred that I built off those memories of me doing those things to these people. Because I was better than that. I didn't have to do those things. But I know for sure I'm on the way every single day further to making money and to being able to protect myself. No one's putting their hands around my neck. No one. Not even a chick. Not even a chick. No girl's doing that. No, you're not putting a hand around my neck. I mean, if she's freaky and she's saying that she wants me to do that to her, I still feel some type of way against it because of the experiences that I've had as a child. No, I know what it's like to have a hand on my neck. I don't want that. I don't want that being done to me. And because I don't want that for myself, why would I want to go and do that to someone else? It's like those gangsters that want to go out there and kill, but then they feel fear about being killed. Mate, that's what you sign up for. The fucking audacity of you. What, so you want to go and take someone's life, but then you feel fear. Oh, I don't want them to take my life. Bitch, you've been doing that to how many people now? Or if we're going less intense, the audacity of bullies that want to go and bully people but have fear of potentially getting that same treatment back. The audacity, you've been going to people doing that to them, but then you don't want that being done to you. So you're just treating people in a not bad way, in a way you don't want to be treated, but then you still wouldn't want to be treated that same way that you don't want to be treated, even though you're doing the same one to other people. What the fuck? If there's anything that I've taken from this, is I forgive myself. And I forgive myself for the things I've done, and I forgive those other people for the things they've done to me. That's it. That's basically all I've taken from 3 and a bit hours worth of filming. 3 hours and 25 minutes worth of filming. That's the one sentence that I'm taking away from this. I forgive myself for the things I've done, and I forgive the other people for the things I've done, so that I can move on and grow as a person further. I'm feeling a physical pain in my left pec, like release. I think it could be my heart. Like literally my heart. I'm feeling a bit of, maybe it's a relief. But yeah, I forgive. Yes, I forgive myself and I forgive those people. And the other piece of advice that I'd like to end this video off with is, if you're out here bullying people and you know you're out here bullying people, and or you've been bullied in the past, or you haven't been bullied in the past, regardless, look into yourself and see, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Do I have any insecurities, honestly? Are there any things that I don't want to be happening in my life, both in and out of the house? Do I hate myself? Am I self-harming? What do I think about myself? What do I think about other people? Do I hold a lot of hatred towards other people? Am I calling people cunts? Am I thinking of people as cunts? Am I telling people straight to their face? Like how I did with Ella in the library, because of all that pinching and all those comments. I called her a silly cunt in front of her face, in front of the librarian. And she just pretended that she didn't hear that. And I immediately apologised out of fear of what she could do and who she could go and tell. But I was close with one of her sons, and we went to the same school together. So I think that for that reason, she felt more inclined to let that go, even though she heard me call Ella a silly cunt. Yeah. Oh, I forgive myself for saying that to her. And there was one more moment, and that's what I'd tell other people to really do. Is there any dysfunction going on in the home? Ask yourself these questions. That's what I'm telling you guys to do if you realise you've been bullying people. Or very generally speaking, give yourself an outlet to be able to work through fears and things that you've been wanting to work through, and trust me, it will all come out. If you do it on a daily basis, it will all come out. Just like how it is for me now. Yeah. I forgive these people, and I forgive myself for what I've done. I forgive myself for what I've done, and I forgive these other people for what they've done to me. Even though I feel this pain in my heart, I can now let that resentment go. I can release the resentment. I think I'm physically releasing the resentment through that feeling in my heart
or where my left pec is anyway. Please just make the art of transforming your life a daily habit, and trust me, your life will transform. Things that you've been wanting to grow from, the things that have been pending ever since childhood, they will come out if you make it a daily habit. And trust me, you'll be able to live the life you truthfully want to live, not the life that your parents have set out for you, regardless of how fucking old you are. And regardless of how fucking knowledgeable you think you are. But yeah, that's the only thing I'm really taking away from this video. I forgive myself for what I've done, and what I've done to people, the sort of bullying that I did to people during middle school and high school, and the bullying that was done onto me. Like the pinching, the punching. That was very minor and petty things. But I don't have a less intense word to call it, so I'm just calling it that for now. Because abuse is very fucking strong. Even though, yeah, it certainly would happen from time to time. These people, Ella and Harrison, they did do it. Like basically, every time they saw me, really, I forgive these people. Like Ella, I was hearing that she had problems. She had family problems with her dad, I think, at home. They had a serious argument. And yeah, Harrison was just a kid, a prepubescent kid. I forgive them for those things. And I remember one time, one guy in particular, he was telling me in middle school, you're very easier to annoy. And she actually said something like that. That's why she liked it. I think because she wasn't experiencing fun in constructive and healthy ways that she liked. She went and tried to annoy me on purpose through words and through the pinching, the punching. And the one time that she threw something at me, it was only the one time. And I think after that one time and the way how she got told off by the teacher, it was like, no, I'm not doing that again. Because she had to learn her lesson and she knew that there were consequences. But when the teacher wasn't there, yeah, right now in my head I'm saying, oh, fuck that bitch. But no, I'm not holding that resentment. I'm not doing it. So now am I in between my pecs. This is years worth of resentment coming out. Like, genuinely years worth of resentment coming out. Like, potentially 12 years worth of resentment coming out. I certainly don't feel scared. I don't feel any fear. It's just me working out that I feel it in my left ab now. I'm just breathing it out, but I feel okay now. I forgive myself and I forgive these people. Oh, yeah, I'm done. Please just make the art of transforming your life a daily habit. And if there is any bullying that you've done and you are doing, trust me, you will stop doing it because you would have worked through it and you'll realise that maybe the bullying that you were doing is because it came from a place where you were being bullied and you had insecurities. For me, the insecurities I had came from a place where I wasn't able to clearly articulate myself. And being in a toxic environment at home, not me feeling I wasn't being listened to. And even if I were to speak, I wouldn't be able to, I think subconsciously I knew I wouldn't be able to clearly articulate myself. So I was just frustrated. I felt frustrated at myself for not being able to speak and let my parents know how I truthfully felt when they said, no, you can't get a job whilst you study. Yeah, I'm done. Just make the art of transforming your life a daily habit, and trust me, you will let go of these things. If you're doing it like how I'm doing it and you're making these serious videos in your style, whatever that is to you, mate, your mind and your body, you'll become the person that you actually truthfully want to be, and you really like looking at the mirror, both from a metaphorical standpoint in terms of how you think and in terms of how you look physically. I'm looking at myself in one of my sister's major laptop screens, and I'm just saying, like, you insert real name. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for what I did during all those sorts of bullying that I was doing during middle school and high school. Even though they weren't like I was straight up punching people, it doesn't matter. That was still bullying. What I did was still bullying. And I forgive myself for that. And I forgive all of the other people. The racism, the girl who unironically called me a terrorist, the guy who kicked me in the balls, the guy who kicked the football at my head when I was on the floor crying in the playground during lunchtime on a sunny day. Like, I forgive these people. I forgive the guy who called me his slave during the year 10 science class. In my head, I'm saying, fuck you. But you know what? No, I'm not that same person to stoop to that level and put out that negative energy out there. So I say, I forgive you for saying that to me. And I forgive the person for calling me a nigger outside the form class in year 9 because I didn't follow his Instagram account, or at least that was how it went down in my memory. I forgive you for saying that, and I forgive myself for all the resentment that I showed to him years after, like calling him a cunt in the school library, just like how I said it there and right in front of people. I apologise. No, I apologise, and I forgive myself. I forgive myself. That was what I was saying. I forgive myself. Yeah, I feel free now. Mentally and physically free, I feel free now. Yeah, I feel ready to go for a walk. I didn't think this video was going to be this long. It's now 7:02, and I've been filming since 3:27. So that's literally 3 hours and 35 minutes. 3 hours and 35 minutes I've been in my sister's room on her mat with the pillows, and on her sitting on her bed, sitting on her mattress and her bed, just making these sorts of serious videos. So thank you. Thanks, sis. Yeah, thanks for allowing me to be in this place where I can actually get my thoughts down and actually work through things that have been pending, even for 12 years it seems. Speaking of things that have been pending and things that I've been wanting to work through ever since I was a child, I've been wanting to learn how to do the forward roll, and I've learned how to do it. So, as a cheers to working through things that I've been wanting to work through since I was a child, I've been wanting to do a roly-poly ever since I was a child, when I saw one of my sisters doing this when we were sharing the same room, when we had a bunk bed back in the day. Yeah, just as a cheese, I'm doing a forward roll because I now know how to do a forward roll, and I've been wanting to do it ever since potentially like 8 years old. So let's go. Cheers. Fucking cheers. Alright, I'm gone, you lot. Yes, it's been a long while. 3 hours and 35 minutes, but I'm done. Made the art of transforming your life a daily habit, and trust me, you will transform. Trust me. Trust me. Have an outlet to be able to release every single day. Every single day. Please, for your own fucking sake, please. Trust me, you'll want to do this with the way how I progress. Trust me, you will. With the way how not only I will progress, but the way how you will see me change, obviously change, as the days go and go and go and go. But I'm changing right now, of course. But it's only going to be more obvious as the months and the years go by. But anyway, as the weeks and the months and years go by. But anyway, this is me signing out, Mr. A Planking Journey, aka Monsieur. I'm gone. Love all of you, and I forgive myself for the things I did to those people, and I forgive those other people for the things they did to me. And now I feel free. I feel physically free. I'm gone, you lot. Bye. I'm going for my walk now. One more thing before I do end this video though, is that yeah, sometimes there may be things that you want to work through, that you know you want to work through, and that you set time to work through, but they actually take longer than you would have thought that they would. This is exactly what's happened here. I didn't think it would take like probably 3 hours and 40 minutes now. 3 hours and 39 minutes now, seeing as it's 7:06. I didn't think it would take this long, but yeah, this is me gone, signing out. Sometimes you need more time than expected to be able to work through these things. I've spent less than 4 hours, and this has been 12 years. It's a short amount of time compared to 12 years worth of hatred and resentment that I built up. Potentially 11 to 12 years worth of hatred and resentment that I built up ever since primary school and getting trapped in the shed. But it's all fucking gone now. I've let it go. If I think I need to release, if I think I need to release more, I will. But I don't think I do. I'm gone. I forgive myself for what I did, and I forgive those people for what they did to me and what they said to me. I forgive those people. And now I can live my life freely. And I'll also say, I forgive Joseph for not being able to come up to me like a man out of his own insecurities of having an overweight physique and approaching me with his 3 boys. I truthfully, even though I've said sorry to him in the past using his real name, I truthfully now forgive him. He doesn't really know any other way to go about things, it seemed. I won't surround myself with him, and whilst he tries to voluntarily make my life a living hell because of his own insecurities, and then he tries to fucking bully me around. I'm not going to do that, but I do apologise for calling him fat to one of his friends, saying that he needs to go on the Weight Watchers program. And you know what? I actually hesitated in the past towards saying that. That was the exact wording I used, because I saw that he wanted me to harm myself whilst going down the ramp for his own entertainment, because he didn't have his own healthy, constructive ways of chasing fulfillment and actually living a meaningful life at a young age of maybe like 15 years old. But I forgive myself for saying that to his friend, that he needs to go on the Weight Watchers program, and I forgive him for approaching me with his 3 boys, saying, "Oh, that's not nice, is it? And I forgive him for calling me a gimp whilst I was going to the skate park and he was biking away from it. Anything else? I forgive him for potentially call him the N-word in reference to me, seeing as I was the only black guy there, or light-skinned guy there. Yeah, I forgive him if it was him saying that, and I forgive the child in town talking about calling him the N-word as well, or something along those lines anyway, that I heard as they were in a group in school, from my memory anyway. Yeah, I forgive those people, but yeah, I'm gone. I've been able to let 12 years worth of fucking hatred and resentment go. I now love myself, I'd like to say. Yeah, I forgive these people. Like that hatred didn't serve me. I've allowed myself to grow from it and to understand not to do that again. So in that way, it did serve me, it did help. But now that I've grown from it and I understand that I forgive these people, now it no longer serves me. I've now grown from it, and I can now live my life truthfully and freely. I can now live my life for me freely. And I know not to do that sort of shit again. Because I now know that it led to a place of hatred where I just hate myself and self-harming, softcore, like scratching myself, like scratching my legs, for example, doodling using my fingernails, doodling on my legs using my fingernails, doing this thing, picking at my left thumb, particularly here, and really putting pressure into it to feel pain. I forgive myself for doing that. All that sort of shit I forgive myself for. But yeah, I've been able to let 12 years worth of resentment go. Now I'm really completely living my life truthfully in how I want to live it. And I'm just further on the way to building and building and building and building. And it all starts now. It's been started. It's been started. It's just carrying on now. But yeah, I'm really gone this time. Make the art of transforming your life a daily habit. Work through, have an outlet. Use YouTube as an outlet. That's what I advise, as an everyday outlet to work through things you want to work through, and have a daily habit, like exercise, something that you want to use to be able to talk about what you want to talk about in. This sort of style that I've used and that Ivan Juric uses like with this Squat Everyday series, yeah. Do what you need to do to transform your life. However you want to go about it, it's up to you, but that's what I'd advise. Every day is the answer. And with this everyday habit, I've now been able to make a whole load of series like Road to Making Mega Bucks. What was it? Road to Making Mega Bucks, productivity checks, weekly picture reviews, the whole lot, you fucking name it. Now I'm starting to really live life now. Starting to love life and really transform as a person. And it's only going to be more exponential due to letting 12 years worth of resentment and hatred go. But some people never do this, never get rid of that hatred that they built during high school, during primary school, all the way through their school life, because of they've been too busy trying to work and get a job that their experiences of being bullied during school just gets pushed to the side, and it's one of the many things that they don't remember consciously, but is stuck with them for the rest of their life subconsciously, because they don't work through their emotions based on it. But I'm not that person now, because I've been able to just work through it now. But yeah, I'm gone. May the art of transform your life a daily habit, and your life will transform. Trust me. Use YouTube as an outlet, for example. Do what you need to do what you want to do. But I just advise having some form of habit, to constructive habit, like exercise or maybe like reading or whatever. It's up to you. But I'd advise having something constructive and healthy in which you're doing, and then you have something deep that you want to have, any fears that you want to work through, or any aims that you want to work through, and or depending on what you want, I'd advise you to do these things, talk about them, and do every single day. And trust me, it will be obvious to not only yourself but other people that you're changing, and you'll be able to live a life that you want to live, not a life that your parents have set out for you, not a life that your friends want you to live for their own motives, because of how they see you, or potentially because they want to bring you down, whatever. Maybe they may act like your friend, but in reality they want to bring you down due to their own insecurities, whatever. You transforming your life will mean that you live the life you want to live for you, that you've set out for yourself. And trust me, you'll live a fulfilling, meaningful, happy life, and where you feel at peace, and that you're able to work through things. It will certainly be a journey and an emotional roller coaster, but for the most part, you'll love what you do, and you'll love life just in general. But yeah, I'm gone. I think I've done enough talking. I'll see you in the next one. I've let 12 years worth of resentment go, you know. All right, love you all. Bye.